There's only one way to set out on the road to Formula One stardom these days, and that's in kart racing at a very early age.
My father started with me as a young boy, and I've always enjoyed to have the four wheels around me, slide through the corners and put whatever had four wheels onto the limit. Yes. And when I got my first kind of real go-kart and I competed, well, yeah, I was competitive straight away, and having the fun and being competitive, two good things come together.
Michael was an established star by the time Ralf Schumacher took to the track, and he put his experience to good use, engineering his younger brother. Whilst the children were racing, Rolf and Elizabeth Schumacher worked 7 days a week to pay the bills. Michael wasn't just Ralf's mechanic, he was also his biggest supporter, but his brotherly advice sometimes fell on deaf ears.
Sehr eigensinniger Typ. Reagiert manchmal sehr überhitzt darauf. Lässt sich nicht immer was von mir sagen. Das ist ein Problem bei ihm. Aber im Großen und Ganzen kommt man ganz gut zurecht.
13 years later, the brothers are now sharing the same stage, and the stakes are much higher, but Ralf is still fiercely independent.
I've always done pretty much my own thing. I've always driven my car, and I came to Formula One, and I think even for my circumstance I was always pretty successful, and that's why I always thought I'm pretty much my own person, and I've never compared myself with Michael.
Ja. Komm, Helm weg hier, sonst verkratzt er nachher, wir müssen aufpassen. All the in-fight situation, you learn the best way in karting. There's so close competition, wheel-to-wheel contact, and you do get a lot of knowledge in that kind of situation in terms of general behavior, how to drive a four-wheel vehicle, and get some experience in terms of that you have to work in terms of setup to achieve something. It's not only good get in and do the best, it's to prepare the best and then do the best. And these kind of things, they give you a very good school in karting.
Ralph's now an established Grand Prix winner too, and some of the credit lies at his big brother's door. Whenever he's needed to lean on him, Michael has always been there, even for those tricky early interviews.
Also sprachlos.
Oder weiß ich nichts.
Ich könnte mir vorstellen, wenn man an der Spitze fährt oder so, dann ist das schon ein beruhigendes Gefühl, als wie wenn man einen im Nacken hinter sich hat, und ich glaube, es ist angenehmer dann.
They were both breathing down each other's necks again at the Nürburgring, where they lined up side by side on the front row of the grid for the European Grand Prix. Michael Schumacher just pipped his brother to the pole, but there was a heart-stopping moment just before the race when his car broke down on the installation lap. Meanwhile, his choice of transport for the journey back to the pits brought some light relief to a tense moment in the Ferrari camp. When the race got underway, it was business as usual for the brothers as they went head-to-head on the run down to turn one. Michael stamped his authority on proceedings, but Ralf stayed hard on his heels, and the pair were still neck and neck as the pit stops got underway. A lapse of concentration saw the Williams driver straddle the white line at the pit exit though, and the resulting 10-second stop-go penalty dropped Ralf down to fourth. Juan Pablo Montoya inherited his teammate's second place instead.
I'm pretty happy, you know, to finish. I finished twice this year, but twice I finished second. It's pretty good.
The Williams package was beginning to look like the biggest threat to Ferrari's dominance, and third-place man Coulthard predicted more of the same in France.
Michelin are onto something with the tyres that they have. They were very quick at the test there, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's a battle between Ferrari and Williams again for the qualifying, unless we can find a way of getting our tyres to work in quality.
Meanwhile, Schumacher's championship lead now stood at 24 points. Just 1 week later, it was showtime again, and yet again McLaren were having trouble getting their show on the road. Another retirement for Mika Häkkinen.
When entry started, I thought everything is fine, and they suddenly stopped. I was super disappointed.
Ralf Schumacher had been anything but disappointing so far. The pole sitter had opted for Michelin's softer tyres, but was forced to relinquish his lead after a problem with his first stop.
That looked like a longish stop to me. That did not do the job.
There was trouble afoot for his teammate too, Juan Pablo Montoya posting his 8th retirement of the season while running second.
It was a bit of an engine problem. A bit disappointed, but that's racing.
A 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane kept David Coulthard down to 3rd behind the victorious Ferrari duo. It was Michael Schumacher's 50th career victory, but despite a healthy championship lead, the German still wasn't allowing himself to relax.
It's not done yet. We have a comfortable lead, we know that, but 70 points to go. We keep fighting.
Well, after France, it was the British Grand Prix, and it was going to be my last behind the microphone at Silverstone. That's where I started my broadcasting career in 1949, so it was all very, very special indeed.
But I bet you'll remember the last one more than any of the others.
Well, I'm sure I will, Martin, because the British Racing Drivers Club gave me a gold medal, which was a great honour for me. And the RAF Falcons came down out of the skies at the end of their parachutes, carrying an enormous great banner. Well done, Murray. And the whole thing was a pretty tear-jerking situation, I must admit.
Are you ready? Because this is the big one. Go, go, go!
David Coulthard was looking for a hat-trick of Silverstone wins, but all he got was a broken suspension at the first corner, thanks to a collision with Jarno Trulli. The points gap to Schumacher was now a yawning 37, and Coulthard was blaming Trulli.
He's not in the championship battle. I know he's got to work hard for his position, but you've got to give up at some point because 2 into 1 doesn't go. I had the lead, so I believe he should have been the one who backed off.
Schumacher and Ferrari played the percentages game, choosing a conservative strategy which saw him passed not just by Mika Häkkinen, but by Juan Montoya as well. Schumacher was driving for points, and he got 6 of them for second place. Fernando Alonso was still looking for his first championship point, but Silverstone brought more misery for the now highly rated Spaniard, who lost a wheel. The same fate had befallen Mika Häkkinen 2 years ago at Silverstone, but this year he was the man to beat. Sharp strategy and McLaren's ultra-slick teamwork got Mika out of the pits first and set him on his way to his first win of 2001.
It's a great thing, it's a great thing for the team, and I feel good after it.
Mika Häkkinen finally wins the British Grand Prix then and kick-starts his 2001 season at last, Murray.
Yeah, he'd had and continued to have a pretty tough season, to put it mildly, but it was great to see him coming good at Silverstone at last, where he had never won before.
Cheers for him on the podium then, and cheers for you as you left the studio.
Yeah, I really couldn't believe it, Martin. I left the studio and started going down the steps to go back to the TV compound, and there were literally hundreds of people there giving me a cheer.
I just wanted to say thank you all very much. I've had 52 wonderful years. If you've got the love and respect of the people that you're talking to, it makes it a very easy job, and I've loved every second of it. Thank you very much.
So after that, it was on to the German Grand Prix, with news that local hero Heinz-Harald Frentzen had been fired from the Jordan team in the days leading up to the race. The locals were not happy.
Go! Great start by Montoya, but Ralf Schumacher's away well as also. Alongside him into the first corner, and one of the Ferraris has been left behind.
It's Michael
Massive
Schumacher.
accident. Luciano Berti rolls it.
The German race was red flagged after the dramatic incident at the start when Bertie's Prost was launched off the back of Michael Schumacher's slow-starting Ferrari. Miraculously, nobody was hurt, and both drivers went on to take the restart. Ralf Schumacher scored a dominant and very popular win in front of a partisan home crowd. His third victory of the season ahead of Ferrari's Rubens Barrichello was made slightly easier by the retirement of most of the leading contenders. That helped Jacques Villeneuve make it onto the podium once again and signalled a reversal of fortunes for the hitherto underperforming Benettons.
It was a great race. It was good for the team as well for us to be 4th and 5th. It was quite close between us, but I didn't get such a good pit stop. I got stuck behind traffic, but it was good.
Budapest is one of the season's most picturesque venues, but this year all eyes were on Jean Alesi in his fetching new overalls. The Frenchman leapt at the chance to fill Frenson's seat at Jordan. Meanwhile, the laid-back German slid into Alesi's seat at Prost. Schumacher had a mathematical chance of wrapping the title up with 4 races to go, and he gave himself the best possible start, with Barrichello riding shotgun in second place, keeping Coulthard at arm's length. It was a rotten day for the Brits, with Eddie Irvine spinning out at the start and Jenson Button following suit at half distance. Ferrari got the pit work and strategy spot on for both cars, and Rubens kept second after the pit stops. Schumacher's 4th world title was in the bag. He sealed it with his 7th win of the season, leaving the rest of the field wondering what on earth they could do to stop him next year. It was still only mid-August.
The dream continues. It is unbelievable. I don't think when we started we ever imagined this could happen. It is just unbelievable, but it is a great group of people.
To work with this team is something very special. You don't know what is really happening inside very often, but we have had tough times, which hasn't come out to the outside, but we've always stick together so much, and that's something outstanding.
So Michael Schumacher's 4th World Championship. He clinched it at Hungary with 4 races still to go. Nigel Mansell might well say, in this Williams at Hungary in 1992, I won the World Championship with 5 races still to go. But whatever, Martin, it was a fantastic championship year for Michael.
No doubt about it. When Michael came into Grand Prix racing late 91, and certainly for his first full season in 92, he moved the goalpost, Murray. He could drive every corner of every lap of an entire Grand Prix as if it was a qualifying lap, and we all had to move along with him. I don't think anything's changed in that respect, except in 2001, without doubt, he had the best car on the racetrack.
Yeah, but the thing that's always impressed me particularly about him is that he's not just a good race driver on the track. He is the complete package in terms of physical fitness, political aptitude, making the team follow him, all those sorts of things which are so important.
He doesn't really have any weak links as such, does he? He really does have the complete package. The press and the PR seems to bounce off him. He does have the ability to motivate a team of best part of 1,000 people around him to give him what he needs to win the races.
Yeah, and I think against common belief, he showed at Monza and then at Indianapolis that he's a very human being.
There is that aspect to Michael, but when the skid lid goes on, there's a little switch in there, and he's a winning machine, isn't he?
Well, whatever, with that 4th World Championship, there was still a lot of drama to come. Michael Schumacher went on to win his 53rd Grand Prix to make him the most successful Formula One driver of all time. It was a great comeback year for BMW Williams too. 4 wins, 3 of them for Ralf Schumacher, in spite of his car being left at the grid at the Belgian Grand Prix, and a very significant victory for Colombian Juan Pablo Montoya in his rookie year. Great drive to win at Monza. I sadly decided that I was going to put the microphone down after an Indianapolis, and that was another very significant race, won by Mika Häkkinen. But all these things you're going to see and more after the break.
There's a big new production coming to Disneyland Resort Paris.
Mum, can I watch TV? Yes, but don't sit too close. Mum, can I have a biscuit? Yes, but just one. Mum, can I go round Tim's? Yes, but don't be too long. Come on. Mum, can I go on AOL? Yes.
Our built-in parental control filters mean you can set and easily choose what your children see on AOL and the internet, making them safer. For our free guide to internet safety, call 0800 237 237.
In Reed's biggest sale, it's amazing what's coming off. Over £800 off this distinctive leather sofa, only $759. Get off to Reed, the name you can trust.